Big one of the day, as you can see on the screen, that is what they're racing for. Well, part of what they're racing for. There is also $300,000 in prize money. 180 of that goes to the winner. And Folkeswood's our favourite, $4.80. And it kicks off the Mounting Yard preview with the scratching of Ecuador. Folkeswood for Kieran McAvoy, who we just heard from, and Charlie Appleby looking to get on the board here in Australia this campaign.
Well, the word is that he's worked very well at Werribee, so the horses travelled in very, very good order. I'm quite impressed with the way that he's been turned out today in the yard. He's a good size, he's strong in front of the saddle. I think they've got him in really nice order.
Gardini for Darren Weir was good too back in the Heatherly, and then down the track last time out in the race won by Cool Chap. It's a $17 chance today.
Yeah, look, he's a horse that I've seen a few times this preparation. I think he's looking well for him. I certainly can't fault him physically.
I don't want to preempt who might be your pick of the yard, Jane, but I've been taken by the look of number 5, Lizzie Lamore. She's a magnificent looking specimen.
Oh, she certainly is. She's very, very athletic. She's a really nice staying type. I think the best thing about her is the improvement she's made each time we've seen her come to the races. Her coat's starting to look well. She's very well within herself today. She's got the 2 strappers on. She looks ready to fire.
Barisha, the Mornington Cup winner from a couple of years back, chasing another one of these Rich Country Cups. A $26 chance today for Ryan Maloney and Robert Smoodon.
I know he probably has to put his hand up today, but I think he's been well trained leading into this. He's well muscled, he's bright. I don't think they could have him in any better order.
Big memories are late scratching, so we move on to the 8, which is Cool Chap, who's also firmly in contention. It's a $5.50 chance for David and Ben Hayes and Tom Dabney.
I thought he looked fantastic at Caulfield last start when he won. Today's no exception. I think he's back to the races in really similar order.
Same price for Nozomi, number 9. This is also representing the Godolphin team. Anthony Friedman, the trainer of Nozomi, however, and Craig Williams taking the ride. He's
quite a gross horse. He carries a little bit of weight, but he's another runner that's improving every time he steps out at the races. It's best I've seen him today. I think he looks fantastic.
Our century for Robert Hickmott and Bo Mertens is an $11 chance. This horse won the Wangaratta Cup 3 back, and it's had the 1 run back this time in. It was down the track at Caulfield.
He appears to have taken some benefit out of that first up run. I think he's well muscled. He's a horse that's really nice and relaxed in the yard. He takes everything in his stride, a good attitude when they're about to run 2,000 metres.
Scratch the 11, and 12's not in the yard with us any longer. Grey Lion, he's already out on the course. Did you get an opportunity to have a look at Grey Lion, Jane?
Yeah, I had a quick look at Grey Lion. Look, he's a really nice, tall, athletic horse. He's much tighter this preparation than what he was previously. I think he's in really good condition, but I've said that each run he probably needs to put his hand up now.
Yeah, you would not put anything past OTI the weekend that they are having. Group 1 double yesterday at Caulfield, and also took out the Group 2 Herbert Power. Magnapal for Daniel Bowman's a $61 chance. Nikita Berryman riding. Yeah,
he's been a credit to the team all preparation, this horse. He keeps continuing to be presented in really fine order on race day. He's handling his racing really well. He's holding his condition. He looks great today.
Next one to look at is Moon Over Manhattan. Darren Weir trains. Damien Lane has the ride on this one, looking for the big double of the day, having won the Apache Cat Classic. $7.50 for Moon Over Manhattan.
Well, she certainly strips fit for this Moon Over Manhattan. I think she's a little bit more perkier than when I saw her at Caulfield 2 starts ago, so that suggests that she's really coming on from racing, and she certainly improved in the coat since the last time I saw her too.
Red Alto for Brent Stanley and Michael Walker. Speaking of jockeys that were in the Group 1 win stall yesterday, he won the Guineas on a 100 to 1 shot. He's on a 30 to 1 shot here in the Cranbourne Cup.
Well, look, he's a nice, compact, strong horse. I think he looks better today than when we saw him last start at Caulfield, but really no faulting. I don't think he's a standout, but they've done a good job getting him here in the condition that he's in.
And Spanish Reef's the last one we need to have a look at. Been some specking for Spanish Reef. The local Hope 31 into 21.
Well, I think she's an incredibly honest mare. There's not much to her looking at her. She's quite lightly framed, but she's been really well conditioned for this race. She's really come on with every run. She's looking terrific in the coat, probably as good as she could possibly look.
There we go. There's Jane's assessment of them runner by runner in the yard ahead of the big one of the day, the Cranbourne Cup. They've made their way out of the mounting yard, and they're out onto the track now, and Warren is with the 2. That is Folkeswood, and he's also got Lizzie Lamore in for second. So the 2 favourites for Warren Huntley in the Cranbourne Cup. Who are you with, Jane? Who caught your eye most out of the yard?
Well, you did give it a bit of a push, Brad, but Lizzie Lamore, she's got the right physique for this kind of race. She's a lovely staying horse. She's very athletic. She continues to improve. She's really come on in the coat since the last time I saw her, but I think it's just her demeanour that said it all. She looked like she was ready to go today. So she's on top. I really like the way Folkeswood looked. I really can't knock him in the yard. He's obviously travelled in good order and he's been presented very well today. And the other one that I give a little bit of a push for in the yard is Nizumi. I thought his colour was exceptional today. He's another runner that's continued to improve every time I've seen him step out at the races. But Lizzie Lamore for me, and I still think there's more improvement to come in her, which is a great thing. But she just looked ready to fire today.
Absolutely. I'm glad we're in agreement here on Lizzie. Pick from the yard ahead of the Cranbourne Cup. There she is on your screen, the Murray Baker trained mare, who is going to start one of the leading fancies here for the Cranbourne Cup, the big one of the day. $300,000 up for grabs as we check in and get a market update.
For the TAB Cranbourne Cup 2017, all set now. In the barrier, Gardini the last to load and the starters up. Gates are back. Racing in the Cup, and Moon over Manhattan, the grey out in the centre, began quickly. Cool Chap and Grey Line near the inside, away fast. Not far away is Red Alto. They were being followed wider out by Spanish Reef as they race through the first couple of 100 metres. It's Grey Line, 1 from the fence. Cool Chap on the rail. Moon over Manhattan, 3 out, and Spanish Reef 4 wide at the judge. Folkeswood, well, McAvoy's really on song. He's brought it across. He's running 5th, 1 from the rail. That was Majestic. On the fence, Magna Powell. Then Gardini wide from Red Alto. Between runners, Nizami. Buried on the inside is Our Century. Second last as they go out of the straight, Lizzie Lamore and Barisha whip them in. There's not much pace about. The 2 greys are in charge. Grey Line leading a half length, Moon over Manhattan. They move clear by nearly 3 lengths, Spanish Reef. On the fence, getting a lovely run, Cool Chap. Wide out on the course, Gardini and Folkeswood in between runners. On the fence then as they turn to the back straight is Magna Powell. Then came Red Alto, well back in the run, Nizami. On the fence, Our Century, Lizzie Lamore, and a length away, Barisha. Inside the 1,000 metres mark in the TAB Cranbourne Cup, and the front runner is Grey Line for OTI. Gardini, the other grey, striding up rapidly, goes to second, and the third of the greys, Moon over Manhattan, third. 1 away on the fence, getting a lovely run, Cool Chap, and McAvoy looking to climb another mountain is off, 3 wide. Folkestone comes to the outside and starts his run on Folkeswood now as they come off the back. A length further back in the field, Spanish Reef. Then making ground wide out, Red Alto. Lizzie Lamore wide. No run, Nizami, Barisha, Our Century and Magna Powell. On the bend, the front runner is Grey Line going after him. Folkeswood on the outside. And the US horse, or the UK horse, I should say, rushed up and he hit the front. There's nothing from the back. McAvoy said, let's go, baby. Folkeswood dashed to the front. Coming back, Grey Line. They're clear from running on Nizami. Folkeswood in front. He's nothing but game, Grey Line. But McAvoy, what a rider. What a horse for the Cranbourne Cup he is. Folkeswood raced home and won it by 3 lengths. Barisha ran second, Grey Line third, Our Century fourth. Behind those runners was Cool Chap, Nizami. Then Moon over Manhattan. They were followed by Lizzie Lamore. A fair way back, Red Alto, Spanish Reef, Magna Powell and Gardini. And Kira McAvoy, that was absolutely stunning. From his wide alley, he was 5th, 1 from the fence in the turn out of the straight. And the leaders were getting an easy time in front, and he was aware of that. He took off. He didn't sit back and wait. He took off. Got up to Grey Line, who would not go in without some sort of a fight. He was then left to Barisha from the back of the field to fly home. But that race was put to bed a long way out by Folkeswood. 2, 6, 12 and 10. 2, 6, 12 and 10. The English horse for Charlie Appleby, who made such a megastar name for himself here in Australia. Now with Team Godolphin, and Kieran McAvoy, absolutely brilliant. He wins the $10 million Everest yesterday and then shows the mental toughness to come all the way back here to Cranbourne today and ride this winner for Charlie Applegate and Team Godolphin. Barisha has run a great race from the back of the field. Grey Line staying on, and 4th prize going to number 10. And that is Our Century, who really didn't have much chance from back in the field. He's finished in 4th. Fifth position going to Nozomi and Cool Chap behind those. Lizzie Lamore got back, pulled wide, but didn't go on. But the winner has been a grade above. And that has been a startling performance, Brad and Jane. And what a ride by McAvoy. This season, I know Hugh Bowman's the champion Group 1 rider, but this bloke at the moment, McAvoy, is on an absolute cliff as far as top rides are concerned. He's right at the top of it now, and there's not too many challenging.
He just keeps doing it week after week and day after day, as we've seen here this weekend. Got the money in the big one of the day yesterday. Prize money nowhere near as rich here today, but the skills of Karen McAvoy were most certainly on show, as we've seen folks would go home and take out the big one of the day. Chris, we chatted pre-race. We were hoping that luck would change. You certainly put the right man on to get the job done. Yeah, no, it was, Kieran's given an absolute peach of a ride. To get one off the fence from that draw going into the first bend was very, very, very good, and that's why he's Kieran McAvoy, you know. That might have been what we're a little bit worried about coming into the race, but once he settled in that position, were you happy with the way that he settled into his rhythm and when he was produced? Yeah, it was ideal, you know. It was all about getting not stuck out wide on him, and we always knew he's got a turn of foot, so we were very pleased with that. Had you guys in your mind worked out where he's going to head to next coming into this race, or you just wanted to see something from him today? It was all about today, to see where we stand with him, and Charlie's watching back home, and I'm sure he'll speak to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, and they'll make a plan and we'll go from there. Is he any possibility of backing up in the Caulfield Cup next week? That's very much up to Charlie, and we'll make sure he pulls out sound tomorrow from this, and we'll go from there, really. I reckon Charlie'd be pretty chuffed, though, given what we've seen, the way the team sort of hasn't had things go their way in the first couple of weeks of your time out here in Australia, to get another win on the board like we see him do so often last year. Yeah, it's always nice to have a winner, and especially with a couple of little setbacks we've had so far. No, it's very good, so very happy. Enjoy the victory. Look forward to seeing where you do head with him next. Thank you very much. There we go. There is Chris Connett, the representing Charlie Applebush stable, who have taken out the Cranbourne Cup here today. Charlie just adds another feature race to his mantelpiece here. He won numerous of them last year out here. Francis of Assisi was a Bendigo Cup winner. He won the Queen Elizabeth. Charlie won the Geelong Cup with Huey. He also won the Sandown Cup with Huey, who ran a great race for fourth in the Melbourne Cup, and I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty more of him out here in Australia. And Karen McAvoy is his go-to man, and Karen's come down for just one ride here today. That was on Folkeswood, the son of Exceed and Excel, and pretty easy to see why he was pretty keen to come down and throw the leg over Folkeswood, who was a 5-year-old gelding out of the Galileo mare, and he was quite strong to the line. And it'll be interesting to see where they do elect to head with him next. We spoke to Karen before the race, and he said, who knows, if Folkeswood blows them away, they might head to the Cox Plate. I'm not sure that was a tip from Kieran that he might be able to topple Winks, but on the strength of what we saw today, anticipating there's only improvement to come, it wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility that he could run a nice race in a Cox Plate. Well, look, we'll wait and see how he pulls up and what Charlie plans to do, but he's a real nice horse. He's got a high cruising speed, and he gallops strongly off that. So, as you said, Charlie and Chris have left a little bit in him coming out here, and there's a little bit of improvement to come, so nice to get them off the board here today. Just talk us through the first 300 metres. Was really interesting to watch how you were going to play it. You obviously end up in what turned out to be a perfect spot. Just talk us through your thoughts as that was unfolding. Yeah, I sort of wanted to be in the 1, 2, 3, but just given the way it's unfolded, I was thinking there might be a little bit more pressure for those front spots, which there was, so I was able just to slot in behind them and get a nice trail. When Gardini come around me, got my horse a little bit keen, and so when Gardini went forward, I was able just to pop out and go with him and get him more comfortable. And he made a nice sustained run from sort of the half-mile onwards, my horse, and I knew he was going to be able to cope with that, just given what Charlie said and watching his replays. So it worked out perfectly for us today. He's a great trainer to have a good association with, because he's got an uncanny knack of picking the right horses to send here to Australia. That's right. He's got a good understanding of what's required, and he doesn't tax the horses in the season over there to bring them before they come out here, so it's always important to have some fresh legs, and he's getting a good strike rate. So it's unfortunate that Francis of Assisi's gone wrong, but it's nice to get him on the board here today. Well done. It's been a big weekend.
Thank you, Ta.
Kieran McAvoy won the Everest yesterday and he's taken out the Cranbourne Cup today. Jane, you caught up with Robert Smurden, who I'd imagine would be cock-a-hoot with the performance of Barisha.
Yeah, well, much improved performance today from Barisha. And look, Robert, you alluded to it when we spoke to you earlier in the day. You were expecting him to put his hand up again today, and he did.
Yeah, well, he's been getting fitter with each run. He's coming off a tendon injury, and it does take a long time. And you're probably training him conservatively, but we've been looking for him to sort of turn it around. And to that end, today we decided to ride him really conservatively. We put the visor back on him, ride him conservatively, and give him a chance to run home. And if he didn't,
gotta love the Smurdy.
If you didn't, champagne, eh? If you didn't run on today, we were in trouble. But he found the line well, and Ryan said he could feel him peak about the 100, and he really battled to run second. He said he was going to run a clear second, so I think there's more to come.
Well, some improvement in him. Where do we see him step out next?
Might give some consideration to the Geelong Cup. It's about 11 days away. He handles that sort of thing quite well, so that's worth thinking about. I don't think there's many internationals going there this year, so up to 2,400 would be the right way to go at this stage. I think Country Cups is where he sits at the moment.
Well, good training effort from you to get him back. He's on the radar now, and all the best moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, Shane.
The super training performance by Robert Smurden with the runner-up. So too Charlie App will be with the winner. That was Folkeswood Kieran McAvoy. The Dream Weekend rolls on, taking out the big one of the day here, the $300,000 Cranbourne Cup.